Project Exodus podcast, episode five, coming live from the Salvation
My mic
Army.
sounds a little... Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Sounds good, man.
Sounds good?
Yeah.
All right. Episode 5. What's today's date?
The 15th.
August 15th, 2024. We're here at the Salvation Army. I hope you like our new backdrop. We got some new camera angles. Still need someone to kind of help operate the board. We're getting there. We had a guy lined up. He went to jail. I guess that's kind of part of the nature of the beast.
It happens.
Yeah. So we want to say thank you to everybody that's followed us on Facebook. We're almost at 1,000 followers. I want to say subscribe to our YouTube channel, Project Exodus Corp on YouTube, Project Exodus Corp on Facebook. And you can visit our website at projectexoduscorp.com. We are a local nonprofit here in Sarasota that help people by guiding them through recovery from the streets, jails, institutions, detoxes, rehabs, any type of facility. If you're trying to make that transition from living a life of substance abuse or anything like that, you really want to be around some people that know how to navigate that path. That's what we do. And we come together usually every Thursday night to do this podcast. It's been a lot of fun. It has been a adventure.
Yeah.
But we were going to have what is it? Do you fart?
Maybe.
Okay, that's great.
Shit.
We'll find out. Oh, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be a good episode. We're
Uh,
gonna have a guest on tonight. Some things came up, wasn't able to make it. Maybe we can get them on later. But breaking news. So I'm going in with this one.
All right. What's up?
Right before a couple days ago, for anyone watching this that doesn't know, oh man, yeah, I'm going with it. Joel started dating again, and
you scumbag.
what a dirtbag.
I don't
and
know if I can have this out though. Yeah.
Yeah, me
What?
either.
this is really good content.
I just think it's for maybe a different time.
All right, whatever.
I
We're
think
right.
maybe August
Tune in next week.
29th. Yeah.
Anyway,
Can we just start over?
No.
No.
He nailed it with the intro.
All right.
I can always cut that other stuff out. Probably won't, but
So
well, anyway, we'll get to that. Man, it's really good though. It's really good. I don't know.
good.
I don't know how to do
good
it without
After I just told you all this stuff about what I'm like
It's
going
fine.
through mentally and emotionally,
I
and
feel
you just
like-
want to go ahead.
I don't
and
know
make
if
it
you
harder
want to
for me?
put it all over, YouTube, but it is good content. It's good
It
stuff to talk
definitely is,
about.
but
Yeah.
there's people that watch this.
Well, you can be the sacrificial lamb and say, this is what I'm dealing with. You do whatever you want. I don't have to. We don't have to talk like, but just saying, like,
We could talk about
God,
me.
yeah, okay. Well, nobody's.
Let's just talk. Okay, so I have to do a presentation this weekend
Oh,
there we go.
for our meeting called Next Generation Recovery
mhm.
that we host here at the Salvation Army. The address is
1701 South Tuttle Avenue,
Sarasota, Florida. So I, as usual, didn't pick a topic. I think I had like 6 weeks or something to think of something before it was my turn. And then the day of the meeting, I get here and I think Joel, was it Joel maybe who made me? So your topic's procrastination, huh? I'm like, what? Like, yeah,
That's a
Paul,
good one.
Paul said it's
that
procrastination. I'm like, well,
would have been a good one.
it was perfect, but I can't because I just couldn't think of I just get in these ruts where I'm just like, what do I have to say? Like, what good things what can I say that's going to help somebody? And I know that's just like me. It's just my disease, or it's just whatever it is, telling me in my head that I don't have anything to offer anybody. So, anyways, it just came to me, and I thought living in the moment.
Yep.
Right. So I've been doing research on living in the moment and just like mindfulness. And, overall, I'd say in the last few years, I've gotten pretty good at not letting myself be overwhelmed by life, by the past, projecting into the future. And I kind of just happened. I don't know. I just kind of stopped focusing on things that were out of my control and focused on the things that I was in control of. And so, yeah, so I'm working on the presentation, and as I'm doing it, I'm realizing like, holy crap, like some of this stuff, I'm dealing with some of this stuff where I'm not able to live in the moment because I'm feeling stressed, and the stress is literally worrying about things, that to come, or things that have happened in the past, or things that haven't happened yet, and I'm stressed out, and I'm getting these feelings of unworthiness, just like low self-esteem, just my confidence is low, and not for any particular reason other than the fact that like I don't know how much I want to say, because I know that
Go for it, man.
it's too much.
This is how you get over it.
So I'm dating someone, and I'm like in love with this girl.
Aw.
And that's like scary because I just like stuff the fear down, but I'm like completely vulnerable. I've allowed myself to like let my walls down to be vulnerable, but then in the back of my mind, and I'm like loyal, I'm committed, I'm supportive, I'm all the things that I feel like that I want to have, I'm those things for this person, because I want to, like it's not because like I don't know, it's just, I guess it's just in me to be, a good person, a good partner, and all these things. But then I have this fear in the back of my mind. I'm sure like a lot of people do, maybe people like us, where I'm just like, am I good enough? Does this person love me? And it's not for anything that's happened to make me feel this. It's just like my mind just like tells me I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I don't deserve to be happy. I know it's a lie, but part of me like wants to believe it, so I have to learn to like not allow these thoughts to become so obsessed on these thoughts that it just like stops me from being able to do the things I need to do during the day, like raising my son, spending time with him, getting here, working on my presentation or whatever, because these obsessive thoughts about these things, these stresses, these fears, they don't really do me any good. So it is a good topic for me too, I guess, but
Yeah, I think there's a lot of interesting things to pull from what you said. One thing that came to my mind is, you ever heard of Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor? Pretty much wrote the book on just stoicism and talking about.
Wasn't he in
Gladiator?
Maybe, I don't know. I don't think I ever even watched it. Maybe, but
Russell Crowe.
Right? But anyway, like it's the idea of not worrying about things that you can't control, just focusing on what you can control, and everything else. We're all going to die at some point anyway. I know it seems morbid, but I mean that's the truth. It's like you can't control it. And 100 years from now, someone else is going to live in our house, drive our car. Why are we worried about so much stuff that we really can't control? The reason I think that, and this is just an opinion, I mean, it doesn't mean I'm right, and I don't think my feelings necessarily make me right. It's okay to feel them. It's okay for you to feel how you feel, but it doesn't make you right. And I don't think what you're experiencing personally is that abnormal. I have the same insecurities, maybe in different areas, but it's like they're like, it's like hyperactive. It's like the brain doesn't cut off. I think chemically, caffeine has a lot to do with it. I think that when I drink energy drinks or I drink a lot of caffeine, that's when my paranoia naturally increases. I also think that like any stress or getting behind or, just abnormal things in my routine.
Do you guys have any idea what like you think the root cause is for this stuff? Because there's no basis for me to feel any of this stuff. And I mean, just to state this, like this girl's been like amazing to me, like great, huh?
It's a biology. I mean, it's a war with biology.
Yeah,
I get it.
I also think, and this may sound mean, but it's not. I'm talking more about myself. It's a lot of ignorance. Like the true definition of ignorance is just, you're not educated about a particular subject, right? Think about us for a second. We have been living the vast majority of our life the wrong way, not in committed relationships that we took seriously. We wasn't maybe handling our finances properly. We were not very honest in a lot of our relationships. And now at this stage of our life where we've got our stuff together, we're trying to now learn how to have those things, but we're in our late 30s, early 40s. You know what I mean? So it's like we're not conditioned for a sense of normality. So you're in a normal relationship where previously in your life you were in relationships where there may have been a lot of similar issues for you to have these
Yeah, very
insecurities.
toxic, very dishonest, and just all around toxic relationships. And now that I'm in a healthy one,
yeah,
it's like, and it's great.
And
like it's beyond great. And I'm like, and
yeah, you don't know what that's like. It's like
it's scary because for any relationships I had attempted to be in, I'd never like fully. I'd always had my guard up, because I'm just like, I'm not going to allow myself to be hurt. But I kind of felt like if I don't find a way to knock that wall down, I'm never really going to truly be able to enjoy, feel like real joy and love in a relationship. And I've allowed myself to do that, but then all of a sudden I just get like overwhelmed. It's not like constant. It's just here, it's not as bad as it was in the beginning. And even now it's okay. Like it's like much better, but still it's like, and I'm glad I picked this topic for the meeting because it's kind of makes sense, like if I can find a way to be in the moment, I can be a better partner, a better father, all these things. Like it'll like it deflates my ego. It allows me to just enjoy my life and be present for the people in my life versus the opposite where my mind's just obsessing about things. And that's just not the only thing, but that's just one particular thing. If I'm able to be in the moment, then I can be present for my friends and my family, my job,
Well, I think it's going to be a really good topic, nonetheless. And any idea who's going to be on your panel?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of people that I know in recovery that are like, if you think like if you see somebody and you're like that person's like at peace with life, and I just can't really, and I just can't think of anybody. I
don't really look at like, and granted, I'm not judging you. I'm just saying I don't look at panel members from that perspective most of the time. I just look for people in recovery. And they don't really even have to be in recovery. I just want their opinion on it, and it could be vastly different than what I anticipated. But I think you just have to make the call. Like it's Thursday. Anybody that sees this tomorrow, if you're interested in being on Andrew's panel Saturday night, let us know. But
and it doesn't even have to be someone that's a master of the panel discussion topic.
You think Jack? Do you think Jack's available?
Jack's in jail.
Gets out of jail Friday morning, so he could be a good one.
Yeah, we'll get Jack on the panel. What up, Jack? Hashtag free Jack. Hashtag free JT.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like, so just to allude to kind of what he brought up about procrastination. I'm the king of procrastination. Like, I'm the laziest bum in my own eyes.
You're a liar. You're lying.
Well, no, like you said it perfectly. Like being overwhelmed in one area of your life mentally with the insecurities with whatever you're dealing with.
Right.
It bleeds over.
Yeah.
It bleeds over in my life. Like, I get overwhelmed with the nonprofit from the media side of everything because I just feel like there's something I could get ahead on. Like when we first started doing the Saturday night meeting, I would have the presentations nipped up, ready to go by Tuesday. Social media posts, Facebook, everything. And, but I would go to bed at night, like paranoid that I forgot something. And what that did was it didn't allow me to thrive in other areas. So I mean, I think that's where, when we say procrastination, you may look at it like, oh, I'm getting so overwhelmed about this one thing, whether, whatever it is. Either the option is to pause,
right,
take a break from something, or try to figure out that balance. And that's not always easy to do.
Yeah. But so I look at procrastination a little bit different than you guys. I think I don't even think it's a real thing. First of all, it's just a moment, like it's not even laziness. It's that thing seems uncomfortable. I'm going to put it off to the side until I have to. You know what I mean? Like now you're crushing. You're trying to have to rush through your presentation because it was uncomfortable. To like anything I'm procrastinating about is really just something I'm uncomfortable doing right now. So I keep putting it off.
I think I like that, but also I'm just putting other things before it too.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it wasn't a priority until it was like, holy crap, I've got 1 week.
But you've winged this before.
Right.
So you have.
I feel like I'm better prepared this time than last time. And I've got the computer. So I'm like, you know, I'm at home at night, like I'm working on it,
Yeah.
like, and I'm getting practice on.
Good for you, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
just to be clear, like I don't know. Public speaking's never really been a difficult thing for me. Like I still get nervous and stuff, but it's you know, but that's where I'm saying
Yeah, you did it, a lot of it.
1,500 public
yeah.
speaks
Well,
to go.
that's why I think it's important that I say this is that I had the benefit of when I was younger and I would do something from a public speaking perspective is there was always people that would come up to me afterwards and be like, "Oh, you did a great job. You did a great job." But there was always that one person that would come up and said, "You did a great job. However, this you could have worked on." And I remember like when I first started getting those type of reviews, I'm like, "Oh, who's this?" You know, but they would be like some 60-year-old, you know, preacher that's been preaching for 40 years of their life. And it encouraged me to understand like, okay, I got to have enough, I have to have thick skin to take constructive criticism and apply it. Your first presentation was your first presentation. Your second one was lights out. It was like two different people. And I don't know what the difference was, but from sitting here as your friend, you were so much more prepared for the second one. I remember like it was like midweek, you were good to go. You had your panel already picked out. Like I don't remember who was on that panel, but like it was just lights out. Like it was not some there was nothing I could walk up and say to you to go, you could have worked on this, because I mean it was great. So you're getting so good at these things. And
I was telling myself that I'm like, do I even want to do public speaking? Like, do I even want to do a presentation every 6 weeks?
You don't got a choice.
I don't want to.
Yeah,
I don't want to, but I don't feel like it's a bad thing for me to do, especially in the direction that I feel like we're going or that I want to go. I think it'll be way more helpful than not helpful. But there it is again. You know, it's like
Face all your discomforts, man. Public
I'm
speaking,
ready.
Get it on the computer.
I'm ready, except for the panel.
well, I mean, I think too is like when you're super passionate about something, you've already got a majority of it written in your mind. The hard part about public speaking is like you have to consistently come up with things to talk about that you're passionate about. And sometimes you're just not passionate about something, but you know it needs to be talked about. Like I'll give you an example. Like, you know, there's one topic we have not talked about that I feel like is like it blows my mind that we haven't brought up mental health like at all. And I know that it's coming.
Well, what do you mean by not bringing it up? I feel like we bring it up every.
Like
I think everything we have to do with has to do with mental health.
Yeah.
But from like a mental health perspective, like a clinical perspective, I don't have a whole lot of experience with like
I think
therapy and medication and like all the stuff that like some people might need.
I think the reason that I say that is because of the team that we have. Like Sonia is like super involved. We deal with so many people that have other than substance abuse issues, they may have like maybe they're dealing with being bipolar, or they have medications that they take for those things. And I think a large chunk of people that suffer from substance abuse issues that have additional mental health issues will tell you that not taking their medication or proper mental health treatment was one of the contributors of their using. And once they got that under control, the drug use stopped, in addition to obviously, you know, maybe working a program or whatever the case may be.
So
Funny.
So it was manageable.
Yeah.
At that point.
And I know people in recovery that will tell you, it's like, you know, as soon as I got my medication right and I started seeing a therapist and I didn't have that stigma of, oh, I've got to take medicine, something's wrong with me. Like they embrace the fact that they may have these conditions that are treatable. It was like their life got better because they could see clearly, they could think clearly, maybe the voices stopped, whatever the case may be. And they stopped like self-medicating with illegal narcotics or alcohol or whatever. And to me, I really hope, I don't want to take on that topic necessarily. I will. It's not that I'm not passionate about it. I just feel like I don't know enough about it. But
I think I know somebody who.
But from a panel perspective, we know so many people. You have Tim Bison, who does that dual diagnosis stuff. You've got Sonia, obviously.
There's someone too that we I want to say her name, Kimberly Benson. She's the the head of Sarasota addiction specialist.
Yeah, shout
She's
out.
in recovery. Yeah,
Yeah, so
Kimberly Benson.
I
And I know some people that I know some people that work for her and stuff too. I think even Lacey does some work with her too.
Yeah, and I feel like that's going to be a really good avenue for us to adventure down with the support of the other programs in our community that are specialized with mental illness and mental health issues. But that's the one that I was just relating to what what we were talking about the passion. It's like I'm so ignorant to that topic, yet I identify the need for more just open discussions about it. And so even if there's not someone else that's willing to take that on, or it's just not, it needs to be talked about before we have an opportunity to bring it with someone else, I'm capable of going up there and and introducing 4 people that could do it as a sense of like getting it done.
Yeah. I think another topic that's good that we haven't talked about would be like trauma, childhood trauma. Like,
oh, that's huge.
It's just I don't know if some people probably didn't have any trauma, but I think, for me, I like a lot of childhood trauma, and learning how that trauma affects everything, in your life now, your relationships, the way you live your life, the way you eat.
What do you know about childhood trauma?
I mean, I've got none, so I got no excuse. I remember, I remember sitting in a rehab, like, I don't know, 7 years ago. I had to do a 30-day rehab for court, and I was sitting around. I was the only one with no trauma. I mean, I couldn't even make something up. And I was just like, well, then what am I doing here? You know what I mean? And my point was, I don't need trauma to be addicted to a chemical substance, man.
Yeah.
There's so much biological issues going on with me. Talk about mental health. Well, I mean, that's what's up, man. It's like, just like you were saying with the relationship, you're like, well, where does this come from? This isn't, I'm treating her well. I'm doing all the right things. I'm being loving and caring and
I'm getting it back.
Yeah.
So it's like, and it's not like it doesn't like debilitate me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
but does it? Because it hinders every relationship you're going to have here on out.
Well,
I
think being open about it, and I've communicated some of this stuff, and I talked to you guys about it, but for the most part, like what I think what's been working is I've been praying, and trying to trust God that, if God's in control, and if people are brought into my life, it's for a reason. And it's just like, and that one's like a big red flag because it's from the same town you're from, so it's like, okay, here we go. This is kind of weird coincidence, and so I've been trying to just trust God more and trust that, I don't know, everything's good, man. Everything's good. I don't know why I got to get crazy sometimes, and I don't know why I'm even talking about it now. I'm not having like issues. Everything's good. Was just something that
you like. I have these reoccurring. Like I even think I have like how OCD is kind of that physical, repetitive.
What kind of OCD though?
Would just like
obesity,
like like in a OCD in like a repetitive way, a mannerism. You hear a lot of people that like touch the doorknob a bunch of times in a row. Well, I'll just do that with a thought. I'll repeat that same thought. It'll be a nightmare scenario over and over and over, and I may do that for hours. You know what I mean? So it's like OCD only with the thought.
It's just the compulsive thoughts and the obsessive thoughts.
It stays the same and it doesn't change.
So, like the pause thing, it says like pause, like if you're ever distracted, it's in the big book, they talk about if you pause and pray, whatever, like that works. If you can find a way to just shut it down for a couple minutes and just by breathing, focusing on your breathing.
Yeah.
Like
is that what you do?
Yeah, sometimes I just have to just stop.
It's because it's weird for me that even though I know all these things to do, an hour from now it'll probably be hitting me again, like just repetitive fear-based thoughts,
and then it's taking you out of the moment,
and then
you're
I'm
just
like, how do I get? So I know all these things to do, but how do I get there? How do I pause? How do I stop to meditate? How to it's right back to the war.
It's so weird. Like I love that shit. Like I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't like paranoia, but I think I talked to you about this the other day. Like I started to kind of embrace the pain of it all. like the pain of it all is like that's what makes me grow. And like whether it was the childhood trauma, like you brought up, like Joel saying he had none, I didn't realize I had any. Like I didn't think anything of it until later in life, and then whenever I look back, I'm like, yeah, that was screwed up. Like I can't believe that happened. Like and then you're like, oh, maybe I do have childhood trauma. Do I give it life? Do I talk about it? What do I do? But what I realize is just identifying whatever the thing is, how it affects my life today. Like, what can I learn about myself from those traumatic instances or those compulsive instances of how to grow from it and avoid instances like that for myself and anyone I can help in the future. And
yeah, but it's like all my trauma is created. It's an illusion. I make it up. I manufacture it through fear, and I repeat it in my mind. I mean, it's not real.
Is this something you deal with all the time still?
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah.
Like just out of curiosity,
like worst case scenario stuff.
Have you seen? Okay, probably know the answer to this. Like, have you considered going to a doctor?
Yeah, definitely. I've definitely considered it. I've even considered it recently. I just made kind of a decision with myself to fully out, try to work this program, do a natural way of.
What about therapy? I thought about doing therapy. I can't afford it.
Yeah.
And not because I feel like I'm like crazy, but it's like if I could find a professional who could help me, somebody good that could help me to like work through this stuff in my mind, find out that Paul, I mean, he's my emotional tampon like all the time. I just dump on him and he, I feel, when I hang up the phone after talking with Paul, I feel better.
Like, yay-haw.
How much did he charge you? I don't know.
No.
So we don't.
No, I mean, like you're surrounded by people with experience and therapists. All we do is hang out with people that are going through the deal.
Yeah, I think there's like, let's just be clear. There's a difference between having a friend that'll listen and talk to you and talking to a clinical specialist that's a therapist that, like, I'm not that. But,
it's, what are they going to do? They're going to throw medications at me, or I'm going to practice like cognitive behavioral therapy.
Well, if you have to go and find out.
I don't think this is what you're doing now is what your brain always does, is the fear of like, what are they going to give me? What are they going to say to me? Like, you don't know, you haven't been there. But what I think will happen is,
well, I mean, I do certain things, like I do like cognitive behavioral therapy. I do exposure therapy. I got this over irrational fear of public speaking. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah,
now.
You're killing it.
And so it's like, like a lot of the stuff I'm kind of eliminating is through exposure. I just have to go through it. Otherwise,
that's a good way. Facing your fear, just stand in front of fear and don't avoid it.
Like a lot of times I'll, you guys call it procrastination. I'll avoid it. You know what I mean? I need someone around. Like I wouldn't be doing public speaking if you guys didn't throw me up on stage.
Yeah, my procrastination is a little different. Mine isn't because I'm afraid. It's just because I just don't want to do. I'm just lazy.
I can't remember the like definite.
But no one's lazy for something they want to do. You know what I mean?
It's just like I said, it's just at the bottom of my priority list until it's I'm out of time.
But why?
Because I want to do other things. There's other things I'm doing.
Do you not enjoy that?
Why do I not enjoy it?
Yeah.
Not that I don't enjoy it. It's just I'm enjoying everything else, and I'm putting that on the back burner because I can do that later.
But what's unenjoyable about getting up there?
It's not that it's unenjoyable. It's just like,
because that is kind of your medicine. You're basically going up there and talking about your medicine. You're saying like, I'm not enough in my relationship. I got all these fears, and then living in the moment is your presentation.
Well, I'm not gonna go into all that. I really shouldn't have said anything here because I feel like it makes it seem like I'm going crazy, which I'm not. Like I'm good, and I'm like I'm
just uncomfortable.
What?
Like it's
talking?
It's no. With like your relationship.
No, it's great. Everything, but you know what? Like I'm just going through. Like my plate is full, dude.
You guys are nuts.
Oh God, I know she's gonna watch this and be like, "Oh my God." Let me just for the record state that
right here, bro.
Let's just state that like I am like the happiest I've ever been.
Yeah.
In a relationship, and I don't know where it's gonna go, but I'm excited. I'm super excited about it. It's just like I was using that as an example, and I feel like now it's kind
Drew, if you've made it this far in the podcast, we want to say thank you for sticking around. We're sorry.
I love you.
All right. So just to kind of have some more progression through this conversation, like the one thing that is really kind of vital to understand is that everyone's condition is different, but in our community, everyone's got some type of sickness to something. Just because one person experiences maybe trauma or has just like a dependency issue or has a codependency issue, the real thing that we want to notate is be willing to talk about it, get help, and channel whatever strength you have to approach those fears and accomplish goals. And I will say the two guys next to me are killing it in life. I mean, just accomplishing so much. And I really appreciate you guys both for being so vulnerable and talking about some of the personal things you deal with. And because that's not always easy.
You know what? I know for a fact I'm not the only one. I can't be the only one who has like fears and who goes through this stuff. Maybe there's just different levels for everybody. But what I can say is that what I enjoy so much about when I'm able to talk to you about this stuff, and I can be honest, like that's the key. Is just I need to be honest. I need to be aware of how I'm feeling and why I'm feeling this way. Then I need to share it with somebody. And because you know me, like I could share the stuff with you, and then you just give me like your perspective on the situation, an outside, unbiased look at what's really going on. And it really just kind of, because my mind will just twist things going on in my life. I'm dealing with this custody stuff, and just everything's going. It's like I got a lot going on, but being able to share that stuff with somebody else, to then get their perspective, an outside perspective on it, it really helps to kind of like put things back in place, because otherwise I'm just in my head trying to figure stuff out, all on my own. And that's what I was doing before when I was using, is I was, I had to figure this out, or then I would just give up and just say, screw it, and like, I just don't care. I don't care. F it,
Yeah.
but like, I don't do that anymore.
It's really difficult to maintain the same level of intensity as when you start something where you're real passionate and you're gung ho and I'm going to do this every day and I'm going to be better at this. And then, 6 months into it, it's like, I'm just over trying to manage whatever that task is, whether it's going to the same meetings or if it's going to the gym every day or if it's going to, work on something. Like having that same level of passion and intensity day after day after day takes a certain level of discipline. And if you have multiple things in your life, like being a good father or being a great employee or being good to yourself or being good to someone else or however that is, like having that constant level of intensity and passion in all areas all day every day is exhausting. And I think that's why, like, self-care, like Angela talked this last week about taking care of yourself, take a day to yourself. Don Thompson said this when he shared. He said, what do you call it? It's like he has one day a week. What do you say it was called? It's an acronym.
I don't remember.
For church, and
it was something. It was like SOPA or something.
Yeah.
It was like sick of people. Like he would just hope no one called him, and he took a day to himself and just to recharge his batteries, whether it was to pray, go to church, whatever.
I say for most people, we're in this rat race. Wake up, go to work. You get this routine. Routines are good, and there's structure is good for people, but it's like we're always doing something. There's always something to do, and there's never a time to just like pause and just be, just feel grateful and thank God and meditate. Like it's hard to make time for that when you feel like you just always got to do stuff,
And that's the living in the moment aspect. It's
Right.
like enjoy the moment.
how do you go about doing that though?
You just stop, close your eyes.
Like only no, not the actual motions of it, but like how do you do you schedule that for certain parts of your day? Or
You can.
are you just doing it kind of how I've been doing it? Like I just think about it. I'm like, well, shit, I better start.
I think it's mentally checking yourself when
you're overwhelmed or something.
Yep, when that stuff starts, when you start feeling the anger, the whatever, the rage, you have to check it.
But like, I don't want to just practice gratitude when there's a negative discomfort in my mind. I want it there when just in the mundane and that when things are going, like I want that full experience of
I think
Things were worse.
He moved to
I
Tibet, dude. He
I
moved to
think-
Tibet.
I think
And-
that's what he
Wear,
said.
wear a robe.
Yeah,
something.
No,
I'm saying.
I think that's where spirituality is lacking in my life, is because I feel like having a connection with God or my higher power where I trust him and I'm grateful for the little things is what consistently gives it to me. And you get that through the regimen of prayer, meditation, whatever it is for you.
So you
It's like,
practice certain times for prayer.
I think that just needs to be part of the routine, and even like higher up on the priority list than all of the stuff you need to do
Right.
in life. Like priority one, is to make time for this connection with your higher power, or to be, to pause and to try to just be, to stop doing and just start being.
yeah, that's perfect. It's a great way to now, stop doing and start being. Like, I think I mentioned this last week about going to the grocery store with Shelby. It's like I have to start looking at it differently. As instead of a chore, it's an opportunity to spend time with her. Or instead of going to work for a paycheck, I'm advancing my career and communicating with my community. If I can change the perception and the lens that I'm looking at it with, like, this is not just a podcast to help other people, it's to help me be more comfortable socially and be more confident in the production aspect of it. So it's just, if I'm willing to take that and change something about myself and say, I'm going to stop looking at things from a pessimistic point of view and start being optimistic about what it's actually doing for me. And I think Joel hit a really good point when he was asking you, like, why are you not doing this? And I think the real answer, not just saying what it is for you, but for me, the reason I don't do things is the comfort. Is I don't want to go out of the routine of, oh, well, normally I go to bed at this time. Well, are you willing to stay up an extra hour to get the things that you've left off the table done?
That's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
What's crazy is that, like, if I'm not sleeping, which I haven't been, and if I'm not spending time with, my partner or whatever, I'm just like watching anime, doing things that aren't doing it. They're entertaining. I love me some anime. I'm all caught up on One Piece, all that stuff. But, so I've just been shutting it down, and I feel like it's been good. So I've been spending time just like researching and working, and I think I think part of me feels like I just can't do certain things, or that it just leads back to that, not good enough. But if I don't try, if I don't start doing these things, then
you're gonna end up like me.
I'm going to be Joel.
Yeah.
Well, this is ironically, this is not the first time I've said that this week, but
Exposure therapy.
give yourself,
okay.
So it's,
be, oh, go ahead.
no, I mean it's just that's what it is, like cognitive behavioral therapy. Like the fear of going to see a therapist. So I already went and did their job. I researched everything I would have. I mean, like I did this for like
Dr.
15
Google.
years, you know what I mean? So like I've already. That's what I'm saying. Like, what is a therapist at a certain point? So I do all this cognitive behavioral therapy and all this.
Break it down for people that aren't so smart.
Well, like most of it that I've noticing is really
been-
the exposure therapy aspect of it. That's kind of my like final.
Okay, explain exposure therapy.
Uh,
Is this something you do on your own?
yeah, I mean,
Are you exposing yourself to anybody?
Retraining my thoughts to think positively. You know what I mean?
Look at me.
Yeah. I just bust out
Well,
on
like,
public.
So you go to like, you do a ton of service. You go to the court program. I don't know where else you go. Like, so you're always like, I don't understand how you still got the sphere, and you're just like, you're always there.
It's slowly getting better. I mean, it's irrational to begin with.
Exposure therapy.
It's not trauma from when I was a child. You know what I mean?
Just to answer this question, the point, to break it down simple, exposure therapy would be like, if I walk through this mud puddle, will mud get on my shoes? And your experiment is you walk through the mud puddle and say, answer, daily double, I got mud on my shoes.
Yeah. Was it that hard? Did I survive?
Okay, so you're exposing yourself to these things that you're.
And then also retraining my thoughts to think positive instead of before I go out on stage or something, like rethink, like, I heard Paul, the first time he got up to do the speech, he was sitting next to me and he got up and he was like, I'm going to fucking kill it. Got on stage. I'm like, what the fuck? So I think, that's like kind of confirmed what I've been kind of walking through. Exposure. I just have to go through it. I'm going to change my thoughts to positive ones. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm gonna fucking kill it, but it's like,
You do kill it. You do good.
trip. Just
I do. I just don't care. Especially the last time, I was more comfortable because I'm like, I like talking to people.
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel uncomfortable around any of these people at all. But when I'm the one there that's like, hi, I mean, it can be like nerve wracking. But what the hell do I have to be nervous about? All these people are like, they're just me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, these are my friends.
Yeah. There's no judgment. There should
no.
So that's irrational fear, right? Because it doesn't exist in objective reality. It's not even like
let me just add something. When I was 23, 24, I was an evangelist. I would go, I preached almost every Sunday, at least 3 Sundays a month. And one of those particular Sundays, I would drive to this small town in Flintville, Tennessee, where there is this congregation of a lot of older people. It was a small congregation, but the people of that congregation had been around for a long time, friends of our family. But like one of the main leaders had recently gotten cancer, and they just didn't have a lot of members to participate. So they asked me to come up once a month to give a sermon, lead the songs. Like I pretty much did the whole service. And I had been going for years to this place. And this was back when President Obama was running for president. And I get up there and I'm talking and I said, we got the upcoming presidential erections. And I didn't miss a beat. Like I'm like, I just said erection in front of a packed church building of old white women. And one guy that was about my age sitting in the back corner. And I'm thinking, I'm just going to keep going and not address it. It was a mistake, obviously. And all of a sudden I hear this guy in the back go, he said erection. And I kind of I laughed. I said, I'm in election. And I used it as a way to just kind of, excuse me, sorry, and move on.
Some crowd work there, huh?
Yeah. No, it's not the place.
A heckler?
Yeah.
Who was that guy? Did you see him after the?
Yeah, I know him pretty well. But
you say evangelist, I just, ever seen the movie Leap of Faith?
No.
With Steve Martin?
Oh, yeah.
You ever? He's like an evangelist. You said that just made me think of that. There's a scene where he's like, he's like praying on people and healing them. He's like, you need a job. We're not even working for Jesus.
Well, my point was what you were saying is like these people here are here for me, right? They're here to laugh with me, laugh at me, encourage me. But ultimately, at the end of the day, things are going to happen. I'm going to say goofy things and mistake words or maybe the presentation. But if I just have to be willing to just power through that stuff, like there's bigger issues out there that are more important in the sense of stress and worry. And if I'm going to invest in those things, this is not going to be the one I'm going to worry too much about anymore. Like it's one of those things I can be proud of and rest my head at night. I do feel like it is a huge responsibility that if you are going to give a presentation, to give it 100% and be prepared. Because I know there's a lot of people that would love to do this. We get to do this, and it's such a great thing.
Yeah, and a lot of people need to hear that, especially that topic. I mean, that's everything. That's
all right. Well, just chill out, okay? Just calm down, and there's too much pressure, dude.
Recovery is riding on this.
Well, I think this is why you don't have yes men. This is why you've got good friends that that I'll be the first to say is like, hey man, like buckle down, make sure.
I have been, bro.
Absolutely. You know what I think is honestly going on? I think it's not as difficult as you're making it. I think
it's not. I'm good.
I think you sit on top of a 135-degree roof all day. Yeah. You come home after picking up your son, you go to the gym, you spend time with your family, and you're exhausted.
And you're already tired. You're gonna nail it anyway.
Yeah, and I don't. I feel like if you were to call any of us and be like, dude, I'm just burnt, I'd be like, all right, what do you need?
Dude, I'm fried, bro. And I've been like physically, but like mentally, emotionally, I've been putting so much out there, for everybody. but I don't, but I don't not enjoy it. It's fine. I'm just worn down, dude.
Well, I'm super proud of you. Like today, when I talked to you, and you were like, "I'm on a roof, man. I'm doing this," and then the next time I talk to you, I FaceTime you, and you're in the gym. Like, so I know
Deadlift 405, baby.
you're a hard worker.
7 reps, son.
No, he doesn't. He's a little.
There you go.
Yeah.
I was gonna record it, but I just shut the music off, and I
Okay.
just,
But
Ego lift.
the thing I would say is
course.
that recognize, like, the ability to recognize the real issue is so hard sometimes, because me and Joel can sit here and go, yeah, man, he worked longer days and hotter temperatures and did the same thing he would normally do in a more intense environment, and there's no wonder he's having a hard time pulling some of these things in. I think the solution is being willing to say, hey, man, I am beat. Can you do this or help me with that? Or can you find me 4 panel members for this? Or say whatever you need to mitigate in your life, but understand that there are physical things and chemical things and biological things that make it a little more difficult.
Do you even think you need help?
with, I don't know. I think I got that.
That's what I'm saying.
As far as the panel, it could, if anybody has any suggestions, I would be
Ask
open.
some old school AA people. I would say just throw out some AA people.
No, I'm asking you to do it. That's the help I need.
So that's the issue. Just asking.
No, not asking. I'm just like now would be the time I could call them. But I really cannot stop and call. Like, I just can't do it during the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just have to get. I just literally, it's so hot out. I need to work, fly through as much as I can, as fast as I can, to get out and out of the sun. But I guess. Same thing. I'm just not making the time to do it. But at the same time, I just can't think of who. I want to get some. I want to get some people that are fresh.
People. They don't need to be a master of meditation.
No yogis.
Yeah. And maybe get a couple, and then get some people that are struggling with it.
I think part of it's just like.
I mean, Don Thompson lives in the moment. I mean, I'm not going to put all his story out there, but we all know what he's been through. And he found a way to get through it sober.
Yeah.
I know.
He takes an entire fucking day off to do it.
Yeah.
So that is different.
So I mean,
but just isolate.
Yeah, there's good, there's good, and again, there's good candidates out there. We'll get it figured out. One thing I wanted to kind of paint a picture and ask you this: Saturday night, I'm scheduled to speak, and Joel's out of town. Sonia can't be here. And Shelby calls and says, Paul's not going to make it to the meeting. So you're the man in charge, and you're 2 hours before it starts. It's like, there's not a doubt in my mind that you would go in that 2 hour time span and make that meeting happen.
Well, I better learn how to set up the camera then.
Well, I mean, regardless, the camera's not the part that makes the meeting. I'm saying you would find a way to do it.
Of course I would.
So I don't think any of us are saying, like, oh, you need to step it up because of this. Obviously, you're going to get this done. It's going to be great.
Yeah. I'm not worried about it.
We're worried. We're worried.
I know you're worried. Listen,
what's been going on
it's
here?
time crunch. I know. But like, if you could go on and I'll share it with you on Canva and I'll show you. I'm pretty much done. I don't really know how much I'm just going to go off of the presentation. I'm just going to kind of read, and then I really want to hear other people's perspective.
Yeah.
So I just need to find it. I need to just stop being an idiot, pick my panel, call, ask some people to do it, to commit to doing it, and then it's fine. I
think choose the panel just out of respect for them, to give them time. But as far as your presentation, I think you're gonna fucking.
I think so too. Things are good.
Yeah,
y'all can count on me, dude. I'll come through every time.
I know you're good. I'm not.
Yeah, you're solid.
The panel needs the proper respect and to maybe ask questions.
I know. I asked Lacey, but she's out of town. She's in Montana.
So Lacey somewhere else.
I don't know.
So
I'll make some calls tonight.
Let's. I want to take some time because we don't have a whole lot of time.
No,
left,
it's 6:15.
Yeah, this thing went by quick. Yes, it was a little bit shorter. We had a little bit of trouble connecting a few things before it started. But either way, I want to take some time to bring up the topic of the Sarasota Fights Fentanyl Walk 2024. That's on September 1st at J.D. Hamill Park. Tony Lemieux has organized this. There are a ton of programs in town that are going to have tents, tables. They're going to be giving out bags with hygiene kits, Narcan. I mean, there's just going to be a lot of stuff going on. And I really encourage anyone here to take the opportunity to go online, check it out. You can follow them on Facebook at Sarasota Fights Fentanyl 2024. We also are selling some T-shirts that are in, to commemorate it. They're, purple, white. I think there's
You can pick any color, actually.
Yeah,
white, black.
Yeah, there's a ton
But the color's purple. That's what we're trying to.
And it's Overdose Awareness Month, and I don't want to, spend too much time reflecting on a lot of this, but overdose. When we talk about trauma, every single one of us have experienced losing someone to this disease, to fentanyl, to the vast number of other substances, and the trauma that comes with that is horrible. Not only for the the family, but for the community. I mean, there is truly a war going on out there, and people are dying left and right. And we just really want to do two things with this. We want to raise awareness that it's happening, and we also want to memorialize those that we've lost. And and
there's a solution, and there's a way to stop putting that poison in your body and live a purposeful and meaningful life.
Yeah, and that's what we want to do. We want to. So there's going to be a lot of people down there. Light Share. I want to say Centerstone's going. A lot of the programs in town that offer housing or detox or rehabilitation of some sense, or resources to find those things, or kind of help guide you through that process. So if you know someone that's struggling and is looking for help, please have them reach out. You can go to our website. We take donations, and we use that money to help fund that recovery process for those people that are in early recovery. And so if you hear something tonight, you really want to help people in that demographic, it always helps to donate, and you see where your money goes. We do a lot of posts. We try to encourage people to share their journey. Is it too early to announce what we're doing?
Yeah. Well, yeah, maybe 1 week too early.
Let me confirm with him still too.
Come out to our tent.
Yeah, big announcement coming next week. We really want people to come out to our tent. Just check out what we do. We want you to check out what everyone's doing out there, because there's so many really good 501c3 nonprofit programs, for-profit programs that are just strictly for helping people in recovery, helping families get rebuilt, and it's a great thing. So we really encourage you to check that out. The one thing I wanted to make sure I said at the close of this is I want everyone to hears this to understand that there is no one else on this planet like you. We're all unique. There's not another Andrew. There's not another Joel. There's not.
And
what?
You are enough.
Shirt.
Oh yeah, you are enough.
You're enough.
So when we talk about living in the moment and self-care and all these things, I just really want you to appreciate who you are and be okay with yourself and be willing to, be good to yourself. And so, I don't know what
my shirt too. Is that
self-care? Yeah, nice.
We both got up so awkward.
It's gonna look like that. It built weird. Well, anyways, that's been episode 5. We'll do this again next week. We're going to try to have a guest. We'll let you know who it is. But all right, love you guys. Love you, Shelby. Love you, Charlotte. See ya.
Hey, do you guys like my beard?
Yeah, it's really kind of
my baby. She loves my beard.